Hey everyone, Ryan out here. Just wanted to go ahead and talk about a situation that ended up happening that's actually kind of funny. Um, I was talking with uh, one of the people that I normally chat with on Twitter. One of the few people. I don't even really do Twitter. I don't actually do tweets anymore. It's just people that I know on there. I'll sit there and personal message them. Because it's just like, it's right there. Um, but the thing is I was talking with one of them about it. They ended up bringing up, cultural appropriation. They have an issue with it, just same as the vast majority of people. Um, and they're all like, "What the fuck is cultural appropriation?" It's all like, really dressing up in an outfit. Come on, really, you're gonna get butthurt over that. Um, just that sort of shit. We had our little circle jerk rant, but he ended up tweeting something out, and then someone else ended up uh, tweeting something about Africa, and I was like, oh shit, here we go. Now, if you don't know, I recommend you go to Thunderfoot's channel and take a look at his video of this one crazy psycho ass stupid bitch trying to sit there and say that they need to set themselves back, not sit there and use science anymore, that they need to discover it all themselves, which is just flat out stupid. But she's sitting there saying that you need to do that to decolonize science. Sorry, science is science. It's not a real political thing. Well, at least it's not meant to be. I mean, nowadays it's becoming political, since people are trying to use science to lie. But, and when I say trying to use science to lie, I'm not talking about them following the scientific method. I'm talking about them ignoring bits and pieces of the scientific method and then trying to say, well, we followed most of the scientific method, so that means, our answer's pretty accurate. No, it's not, because if you don't follow the scientific method, you're not going to get an accurate answer. Usually, you're going to get something that's not repeatable with concurrent blind tests. So the thing is he ended up tweeting that out. Someone started talking about Africa, and someone was sitting there and just going the fuck off. So I actually ended up going ahead and giving him my full fucking name, and ended up sitting there and going, look, if you know someone who can sit there and curse someone, or at least claims to, sit there, curse someone, have lightning strike them, go ahead, give my information to them, have them have at it, just go ahead and go off. And so I've instructed my cousin, if I get struck by lightning within the next month, to get onto the computer and tell people that I was struck by lightning. The reason why I'm willing to do this is because of the pure and simple fact that I know that is all bullshit. And because if that was a possibility, how would Africa have lost a single fucking war? Really? How would Africa have lost a single fucking war if they had the ability to direct lightning to strike their opponents? So, yeah, I went ahead and I told him, have at it. Don't be expecting to hear from my cousin anytime soon. But you know, you've got all these different people. I mean, you got Anita Sarkeesian going off on that because since apparently video gaming's not pulling in enough big money for her now, so now that all of a sudden isn't important enough for her, even though there's been jack shit fuck all for change. She's managed to fuck up a couple of video games, and the companies even sat there and said, yeah, we shouldn't have listened to this bitch. So the thing is now she's moving on to the full SJW spectrum, you know, cultural appropriation, bitching about Hollywood's statistics being in line with the ethnic makeup of our country. You know, it's just like, really? Really? You're gonna bitch that media is actually pretty much evenly split for representation as far as the demographic percentages are concerned? You're gonna bitch and complain about that? What, you're saying that a group that is anywhere between 10 and 15% of the population should be represented at the same level as a group that's over 50% of the population? Are you fucking kidding me? You have a better chance of arguing that, you know, business boards should be split with evenly between men and women, because at least that demographic is there. But like when you're sitting there and you're bringing race into it, and you're bitching about something in the US, if you're saying, oh, well, whites are overrepresented in everything, well, because there's more whites. I'm sorry, but that's how it fucking works. I mean, figure it this way. If you're sitting there and you're trying to hit a target with throwing knives, and it's pitch fucking black, what are you going to do? You're going to sit there and you're going to have to throw a bunch of knives before you get a hit, right? So if you've got one person that has, you know, 50 throwing knives, and another person that has 4 throwing knives, who do you expect to hit the target more? And neither one of them knows where the target was at the beginning. You know, they have the exact same amount of information. You're going to expect the person with 50 to get more. Like, in fact, you're probably not expecting the person with the lesser to even hit the target. So, let's just use some basic logic here. And then, you know, people are sitting there and saying, well, the reason why there's so many whites is because of racism. No, there's so many whites because people tend to have own group preference. Again, welcome to nature. And we shouldn't have to override that. And the thing is you haven't even really been seeing that with whites lately, because, you know, a lot of white guys are becoming interested in black women. Black men are interested in white girls. Yet you're sitting there and bitching about that. Really? So the mixing of blood starts to happen, and you bitch about it. But before that, you were bitching about there not being a mixing of blood. Do you see where people say you can't win with social justice? Where it's impossible? Because they're always going to bitch about something? Even if you start doing what you want them to do, they're going to bitch at you? Honestly, anyone who has seen something where, you know, someone's done something that the social justice crowd has wanted, and the social justice crowd, or at least part of the social justice crowd, not bitch about it, go ahead, link it in the comments section. I'm actually curious to see if this has ever happened and been recorded. I'm really curious because I've seen time and time and time again where they've done that. And so if no one can bring up anything, I'm going to have to ask the question, why listen? If they're just going to bitch about you doing what they want, and they're also going to bitch about you not doing what they want, but you not doing what they want is more profitable or more enjoyable, then why would you sit there and make yourself less profitable, have less enjoyment, and get bitched at? One of my buddies joked around. He said, you know, sitting there and talking to social justice warriors is a lot like marriage. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. And I thought about it, and it really seems like he was right. Now, when it comes to the whole marriage thing, I've already beaten that dead horse. Everyone knows I'm against marriage as it is right now. I'm not against marriage as a general concept, but as far as the current state of it, yeah, I'm against it. But, you know, I've always been against social justice. And the reason why is because to have that social justice thing, you have to be looking at race. And I was raised by my parents to not consider race, to not consider gender. The only thing that they tried to force down my throat was sexual orientation, and even that, I was all like, I don't see an issue. It's not affecting me in any way. Why should it matter to me? Why should I bitch about what they do behind closed doors? As long as it's not hurting anyone. But when it comes to the whole race thing, you know, it's all, I've seen so many people concentrating so hard on race that they've actually truly become racist in their own right. And they're racist going both ways. It's all like, they're racist towards the groups that they're trying to defend because they're sitting there and in their fervent defense of them are basically saying that they're completely incapable of doing anything themselves, which is fucking horrible in and of itself. And then the people that they're defending them against, they're telling them that they're racist because they don't agree that this other group can't do a single fucking thing themselves. So, not being racist is now being racist? To what level is social justice going to take its retardation? I really want to know. Where does the ride stop? Or is it one of those things, was Albert Einstein correct when he said, what is the difference between genius and stupidity? Genius has its limits. Was he 100% correct about that? Because, to be perfectly honest, I'm starting to see that come true. I'm starting to see that be proved over and over and over again. Why? Why are people concentrating so much on race, so much on gender, so much on sexual orientation? Now, by all means, if someone is sitting there and legitimately discriminating against someone for one of those reasons, yes, call them out on it. That's the reason why we have laws there to stop that sort of thing. But at the same time, stop sitting there and condoning certain groups being bigoted towards other groups, and the other groups not be able to retaliate at all, lest they be called the bigots. But them still be called the bigots, even if they don't retaliate, because then their silence is taken as them admitting guilt. There's a reason why I'm saying that social justice is a witch hunt. Because it is showing all of the signs. I'll probably go ahead and make a video directly showing the correlations between the witch hunts and social justice. It's something that I've been wanting to do for a while, but I haven't been entirely sure how to approach it. It's probably going to be one of the first videos that I've ever done that won't be completely ad-lib. I will probably go ahead, script the thing, actually do some editing, and actually, God forbid, put some fucking effort into it. But until then, I'm just touching on it here. You know, just honestly go ahead and take a look at the witch hunts that actually happened, that are documented. Take a look at the mentality there of the people conducting the witch hunts. Now go ahead and compare that to social justice, to the mentality of people that are social justice warriors. You're going to find a frighteningly accurate depiction of them in this. It's going to almost be a one-for-one comparison. People ask why I am so against social justice that I will actually go out of my way to fight it. Why I will step directly into the line of fire to say something. Well, that's the reason why. Because I have seen what social justice does. I've had a few friends that have gotten caught up in the bullshit. Luckily, social justice isn't a real thing around where I am. People around here look at those people and just tell them to go fuck themselves. Not in a polite way either. More often than not, though, they will look at the person and tell them to get fucked. Verbatim. That will be the actual wording of it. Because the thing is people around here have bigger problems than hurt feelings. Around here, we have pretty much consistent droughts. Like, this is the first year where we're not in a drought in the last 6 years. We've got a major homeless problem going on where we live. We've got drug issues in this area. I mean, when you actually look at this area, it's all like, dude, yeah, we're part of the first world. I'm not saying that we're not part of the first world, but we're definitely at the bottom end of it. Is our city a giant slum? No, but it's getting there. Half of our city is a slum. You know, where you've got drug addicts running around. Yes, hookers walking down the fucking street. Got a massive homeless problem. You have break-ins. You have crime. You have all of this shit. And now we're starting to have gangs trying to move up into this area, and the police being afraid to fucking do anything because they're afraid of social justice coming up here and fucking running amok on them. So now it's up to the citizens. Well, the thing is where I live, we kind of have a history of defending our area. We don't allow outsiders to come in and fuck up our shit. And me being someone who's born and raised here, I'm actually very proud of my city for standing up against that bullshit. But now it's time for us to sit there and start fixing our own shit. But we can't do that if we're having to constantly fight off this social justice bullshit. It takes too much energy. Especially with us living in California. So we have to sit there and find ways to tiptoe around California's bullshit laws. And if we start doing shit that pisses Sacramento off, then they have us release the water from our dam because of a stupid agreement that the people that were in charge of Redding so many years ago made. So it's a dangerous situation for us at this point. But also at the same time, we're not just going to bend over and take it. But when I look at, the effects that social justice has, I haven't seen any positive effects that social justice has had. Not without it being countered out by 10 or 20 negative side effects. Let's just say this. If it was a drug, it wouldn't matter how much money you threw at the FDA. The FDA would not fucking approve it. And that's saying something. Because the FDA is just as corrupt as any other government agency. So, let's just be completely honest here. When people say that social justice is a witch hunt, they're not wrong. When they say that it's a cancer, again, it's not wrong. But let's just be completely honest. If social justice hadn't taken root in our country, how much better do you think our lives would be at this point?